Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, your home for discussions and debates about all things animation. Each week, we'll rank, review, and revel in animated shows from yesterday and today, and from around the world. So grab your Acme slingshot, set your mobile suit to autopilot, and put on your mouse ears. The Animation Station Podcast begins now.
Should have had you watch Wakfu.
I think I got enough of it to get the gist. The artwork and all that.
You
and
watched
the
you
weapons
watched like
with eyeballs
5 minutes.
and talking.
And that's only one element.
And the confusingness of it all and the weird rules of that universe.
Because he came in season 2, episode 4.
Yeah, much must have been established
Yes.
by then.
Well, there was at least, 26 episodes in the first season, and then we were into the 4th episode. So, yeah, 30 episodes.
Dang, man.
You had a ways to go.
How many seasons?
2 seasons are out right now on Netflix. They just finished season 3, and then they've got 3 OVA specials.
Dang.
You know what an OVA is, right?
Original Victorian architecture.
Oh, you were very, very close.
I was?
Yes, it's original video animation. So
I was
very
close.
So
Man.
close. You got the letters in the correct order, so it was close.
What was it again? I've already forgotten.
Original video animation.
Oh, okay. What does that mean? I don't get what that means.
It's basically like kind of like a special. Like a mini movie.
A made-for-DVD movie.
Exactly.
Got it.
But
okay.
it's what they can do like in between seasons. Like Gravity Falls, like if you want to consider like the Dipper Pines Diaries or whatever that he did in like the Mabel garbage, weird stuff, that would be considered an OVA. So it's not part of the main story. It's kind of like extra content in between seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's an OVA.
Got it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
And on that delivery, welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 65. Is it? Is it 65?
It might be No, I think it's 66.
I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin. We did all kinds of research. I left my notebook. I feel naked without it.
Episode 66.
Yes.
Where we talk about Sony Pictures Animations. Or is it Sony Animation? Is it Sony Entertainment Animation?
Entertainment Animation.
Sony
Pictures.
Animations 2000.
I think it's Sony Pictures Animation.
Sony Pictures Animations 2015. Follow up to their 2000. It's Hotel Transylvania 2.
Yep.
I should have done some sort of anything before I started this.
We were just so excited to watch it.
Yeah. And man, it's been a busy weekend for
Yeah,
Josh.
you've been real busy.
Went to, well, first off, took Friday off. Had to watch Stranger Things.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Didn't get to watch all of Stranger Things. I'm on the last episode, and then I had to record with Gavin.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I'm keeping you from Stranger Things right now.
So yeah, watched Stranger Things, and then I went to, I almost said ZumiCon.
Wizard.
I went to Wizard World Comic Con, and Cora and I will have an episode sometime next week.
Cool.
Something like that.
Cool.
With that.
A little recap.
Yeah.
Where was it? Was it at the Cox Convention Center?
It was at the Cox, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and talk about it. Yeah, I did an interview with an artist, Thomas Estrada.
Cool.
Who worked on some of your favorites, like Emperor's New Groove.
Fantastic.
Treasure Planet.
Awesome.
Did he work on Atlantis? Maybe.
It's in that same era.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
Prince of Egypt.
Ooh.
Gears of War
nice.
2.
Nuh-uh.
Yep, worked on Gears.
Sweet.
And on God of War 2.
I never played those.
Yeah, it's all right.
They looked pretty cool, though.
No.
Oh, okay.
More of an Xbox guy than a
wrong.
PlayStation guy, so. Yeah, so he's worked on a lot of stuff. Did the majority of Disney Infinity. He was on that for 6 years.
Wow.
So we get to draw all kinds of cool stuff.
That is cool.
He also was going to do... he was talking about in his panel... With Disney Infinity, they were working on an intro that was going to be Jiminy Cricket. So one of your favorites,
Yeah.
your favorite Disney Cricket,
Yep.
Jiminy.
He's absolutely my favorite Disney
Are
cricket.
there any other Disney crickets?
This is the Lucky Cricket Mulan.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
I can't
him.
think of any others.
Yeah. But yeah, he was talking about that, how they were going to do an intro for that.
Uh-huh.
So sat down with him. That was pretty cool. That was
Sweet.
we did that on the convention floor.
Ooh.
So you get convention noises and everything. So ambiance.
So it's got some energy to it.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
And then last night I did another interview with voice actor Mela Lee.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's from Ladybug, right?
Yep, she plays Tiki on Miraculous Labybug, and she also plays Rin Tosaka from the Fate series.
Oh, you've talked about the Fate series a lot.
So much because it's
Nice.
fantastic.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right on, dude.
She was also a Digimon.
Oh.
Yeah, she was Biomon, my girl.
You're such a nerd. I love it.
I try. So, Gavin, got any news?
Well, I do have a wee bit of news, a bit of sad news in the animation world. One of our favorite characters from one of our favorite Disney movies.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
No, but right movie.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, the actor who voiced Rafiki in The Lion King has passed away. It was Robert, and I don't totally know how to say his last name. I want to say it's Guillaume. I think that's how you say it. But I grew up watching a show that he was in called Benson, so I knew him from TV. And then when he was in The Lion King, I recognized his voice. He was a fairly well-known star up through the 90s. I don't think he's done a whole lot since then, but just as Rafiki, Disney legend. And yeah, sad to say he's passed away.
I don't know if the mics can pick it up, but
What?
Brady's in the other room watching Stranger Things, and it was playing the sad Stranger Things music because he's on the last episode. So I'm like, oh, that was very fitting.
No, the mic did not pick it up, I'm sure.
All right. Well, have a little bit of news out of Amniplex. Sword Art Online Final Bullet. There's a new video game coming out, and it looks like we finally get a Sword Art Online game for the Xbox One. So it's no longer just going to be on PlayStation. We actually get one for the Xbox now.
What kind of a game is it? Is it just like a fighting game?
Yeah, it's like a fighting shoot 'em up, but you also have lasers game.
Okay, so throw everything against the wall and see what
Pretty much.
sticks.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's cool. It's based on it's kind of based off the second season of Sword Art Online, where you go into Gun Gale Online, which is GGO. Cool stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, you get to create your own character, which is nice. So I don't got to play as the main characters.
That's cool.
Also, in Kickstarter news, Goblins Animated is now officially on Kickstarter.
Nice.
So we can go and
So you can
donate to their Kickstarter, and that way we can get Goblins Animated finished.
Sweet.
Now,
What's their goal? Do you know their target? Oh, sorry. Follow-up question. I shouldn't have asked. What's the timeline? Do you know the timeline? Like, do we have?
30 days. So
Are
it
you
was 30
serious?
days.
That's
Let's
fast.
see. Let me scroll up here. We have 24 days to go. They are $65,000 in
Okay.
to their $465,000 goal. So they only need about $400,000 more dollars, and they've got it.
Yeah. Well, like we've seen on other Kickstarters,
Yeah,
a lot of that money comes in the last week.
Yeah, it'll happen.
I hope it happens. That if you guys don't remember from our interview of friend of the show, Phil Lamar.
Thank you for doing friend of the show.
He is working with a couple of friends of his to create a new animated series called Goblins, and it's basically set in the D&D universe, but it's kind of a new take on that world. So it's basically a group of goblins as the playable characters, which they're usually the ones you just run into and kick aside. And
they're the ones you kill horribly. That's usually what happens.
So now they're like the main players in this world. So it's kind of a flipping the script kind of a job. It looks really hilarious. I think it's got huge potential. So yeah, go check it out. If you want to see something like that happen, kick them a few bucks.
Yeah, and if you want to donate $10,000,
you get stuff.
You get a lot of cool stuff.
I bet.
You can also get to name a character. No, wait, that's $8,000. $8,000, you can name a character in the show.
Wow.
$10,000, you were able to voice a character in the show. However, that perk is gone.
Oh, there's only a one-person perk?
I missed it, and so therefore I'm not going to be donating $10,000.
I wondered why you were trying to sell your car all of a sudden.
But that car's not worth $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Someone would be a sucker if they bought that car for $10,000. All right, anything else, Gavin? Any other news? Anything you want to plug?
That I can think of right now.
You're
as far
ending
as
your
news.
Inktober.
Inktober, when this comes out, there will be 1 day left of my Inktober. Thanks to everybody who has bought pieces.
You're welcome, Gavin.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for buying one. All of my proceeds for Inktober, as I've mentioned before, they're all going to help Puerto Rico, and I'm matching dollar for dollar. So my $10 drawings, 31 of them, all up for sale during Inktober. There's only a few available right now because they've been selling really well. So thanks for all the support out there. So yeah, I hope I can get the whole 310 and match it and send $620 to help Puerto Rico. It's not much, but every little bit helps. And yeah, so that's still going for another couple days. I also can announce that I am in an art show coming up in California next month. And it's at the Popzilla Gallery at Pop Comics in Anaheim. They're doing a Foolish Mortals Haunted Mansion tribute show. And I'll be in that. So if you guys are in SoCal and are free the third weekend in November, come on down. I'm going to be there at the opening, the gallery opening for that show. So prints and the original will be available.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm
That
pretty
is
pumped.
good to know, Gavin.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So for this episode, we went with basically we'll just start. So last year, we did for our final original Spooktober episode was Hotel Transylvania.
It was.
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. It was the one movie that you were like, yes, winner. And you loved it so much, you instantly bought the sequel.
Exactly. And this month, so we thought it would be fitting to end Spooktober 2, the Re-Spookening, with Hotel Transylvania 2.
Yeah.
And then next year, maybe 3 will be out.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be out.
Maybe.
But yeah, this year we just went with Sony Animation's 2015 Hotel Transylvania 2.
Yep.
All right, and reading off the Blu-ray cover, in this all-new monster comedy adventure, everything seems to be changing for the better at Hotel Transylvania. However, Drac is worried that his adorable half-human, half-vampire grandson, Dennis, isn't showing signs of being a vampire. So while Mavis is on vacation, things get batty as Drac enlists his monster friends Frank, Murray, Wayne, and Griffin to put Dennis through a monster in training boot camp. I was expecting more puns. That's why I went with that voice. Not just things get batty, you know. I was expecting to be like last week where it was like chocked full of puns.
Yeah.
God, you brought everything over here.
It's cold out there, man.
Dude, I went out in flip-flops, shorts, and this shirt.
Yeah, you're a polar bear. I'm not.
Yeah.
It was 32 when I left my apartment today.
Oh, I didn't look.
Scarf, knit cap, gloves, coat for Gavin.
2 shirts, one of them long sleeve.
3 shirts. Orange on bottom, green in middle, Monsters University shirt on top.
And are any of those long
Appropriate that I wore the Monsters University shirt today, since we watched the movie about monsters.
Oh, yeah, that's convenient. Anyway, Hotel Transylvania 2. So, Grabby.
Yes.
You had not seen this one.
Correct. I waited.
You waited for this one. You waited a whole year to watch the Re-Spookening to happen. So, what'd you think?
I thought it was hilarious. I liked it a lot. I thought it did a great job of it felt seamless, like just continued right along. So it's almost like if you played them back to back, you wouldn't notice anything except for credits between the two. I mean, it could really flow right in. I did find it interesting how the first 20 minutes or so, they just start jumping through a timeline.
Oh, yeah, there's they got married.
To get him to like 5 years old. And it's like married, pregnant, toddler, talking, walking, now he's 5, and it's like, holy cow,
and
we
now
went
he's
through
a
that
bat
fast. I mean, they were it was weird how they did it. I liked how they did it ultimately, but along the way you're like, oh, we're jumping again. Oh, we're jumping again. But they would do like a full sequence and a full scene at each of those stops. So you kind of felt like, okay, this is where we're going to start the story. But then they jump again, and they did it 4 or 5 times to get you to that spot.
Yeah.
And then once they did, it kind of sits right there at his 5-year-old range. And no, I other than that, it seems like a seamless, sequel and timeline with the first movie. I like that they kept the whole spirit of it the same. It felt very much the same. So, sometimes sequels, they kind of lose the plot. They go off the mark, like Cars 2. A lot of people had huge problems with where it went because it just didn't feel like Cars anymore. And then they had to bring it back with 3. So this one didn't do that. They kind of hit the mark that they originally hit. And I liked that. I thought it was good.
Yeah, one of our listeners was saying it felt like a direct-to-DVD sequel, and
I don't agree.
And I'm
with
like,
that.
I was like, no, Lion King 2: Simba's Pride sounds and is a direct-to-DVD sequel.
Right.
Mulan 2 definitely is a direct-to-DVD sequel. This is
Bambi 2, made 60 years after the original, definitely a DVD.
but that has
sequel.
Fauna in it,
I don't care.
or is it Pauline? I think it's Pauline.
I don't even know.
Fawn Lee. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Fawn Lee sounds like a Street Fighter character. It's Fawn
Metro's
Lee.
not. Fawn Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
Fight.
That's not Street Fighter. Anyway, but this one, like, we have our original characters from the first movie and everything, but we have a completely unique storyline.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like anything direct to video.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the Steve Martin Father of the Bride and then Father of the Bride 2.
Yeah.
Because the first one is kind of about that whole, like, the kids getting married or finding each other and blah, blah, blah. And then the second one is about
pregnant.
babies. Yeah. And so it kind of reminded me of that in a way.
But crazy twist, both the mom and the daughter get pregnant.
Yeah. Whoa! That's great. Kind of full circle, because last week we talked about Martin Short a lot, and Martin Short's in both of those movies too. So anyway, back to Hotel Transylvania.
Bringing it back around to Martin Short. You're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like what they did here. It is a totally new story with those same characters, and the way they made it seemed seamless from the first movie. I don't know. They did a really good job with it. And so it definitely did not feel like a made for TV or made for DVD, kind of cheap sequel. I thought it was really good.
So did I. What did you think about the animation?
Well, I mean, it's on par with the first one. I think Sony...
I think the hair went a little bit better. Like, whenever you see Dennis's hair...
Yeah, his hair is really cool.
It's really, really,
really
good.
Cool. But I don't know. I feel like Sony is probably, I don't know, 5th or 6th out there of the major studios doing computer animation. They're about 5th or 6th place as far as quality, I would say. But it's still really good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the stuff that Warner Animation Group is doing. It's not as good as who am I thinking of?
DreamWorks?
Imagine Studios. Definitely not as good as DreamWorks, Pixar, like the big ones. But it's close. I feel like I have some issues with some of the lighting and some of the textures. They're not as fully realized as some of those other companies. The movement at times, some of them, I know a lot of them are monsters, so they have a different gait when they walk. But when it comes to the more humanoid characters like Mavis, she walks kind of weird.
She's not
like
human. She's a vampire cat.
It doesn't look natural. Like there's no like movement to her hips, and I don't know. It looks a little stiff. And so I have a couple problems with that, but otherwise, it's a beautiful movie. I like that, it being the same location. Like, we already know the hotel. We know what it looks like, and they kept everything the same. I love whenever we pan out, we see that green glow from the polluted pool, or whatever, radioactive pool or whatever it is. And, so I like all of that, and I like the interiors of the castle. We went to a couple new locations this time. We went to California, which was kind of cool.
We went to, what was it, Santa Clarita?
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah. And
That's
then we also went to the little vampire summer camp.
That place
those are
was
kind of
awesome.
The two main places.
I would love just an episode where Dennis goes to vampire summer camp. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Because I'm like, he's a vampire now. He should totally go to vampire summer camp. It seemed super cool until it burned down.
Yeah, until Frankenstein ruined it.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the like you said, the hair was really good. His super curly orange hair was awesome.
I love when it was when Drax slicked down
back the middle.
just in the middle, and everything else was poof. That was good.
Yeah, I agree. I think the textures in the hair were probably the best thing that they did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the design of these characters. I did in the
that's
first
the thing.
film.
Like, I like these characters' design just because, I mean, they look cutesy. They're not like, it's not Tim Burton.
Right. And
no offense to Tim Burton.
Dennis was adorable.
And we got to see bats again.
Cute.
The
And
most
they're all
adorable
cute when they're bats. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I man, I mean, again, it feels like re-critiquing the first movie because so much of that is the same. You know what I mean? So I don't have much else to say about the artwork, but that it was good.
Yeah, I was a fan again, just because I love that first one so much that getting this one, and I think it helped too that literally right after we watched Hotel Transylvania last year, Hotel Transylvania 2 was on Netflix.
Oh, right.
So I was like, oh, I'll just watch it right there, and I was like, oh, it's perfect.
That's
I got
awesome.
like a double dose.
Yeah, the Netflix penchant for having sequels, which is usually what
the one time it worked.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird how they only ever have sequels on there. I don't get it.
Waiting for Anastasia 2 to come out.
We do have a few new characters in this one though, and some new voice actors. So like we meet his parents, and they're voiced by Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally, who are married in real life,
which is perfect.
Both hilarious in real life. So that was funny to see or to hear them voicing that couple. It feels like we have a few. Oh, I mean, we meet a few of the other humans along the way. But I don't feel like. I guess there probably were some new monsters, and they have little lines here and there.
I mean, we got Vlad and then Bella.
Oh yeah, Vlad by Mel Brooks. Yeah, that was cool. I was wondering who Mel Brooks was going to be because I saw him in the opening credits, and I knew he wasn't in the first one. So I thought they did a good job with that. So that's Dracula's dad.
Yeah.
And
I like that they named the one of the vampire evil bad guys Bella. So I'm like, oh, shout out to Bella Lugosi. That's nice.
I like the way that they pulled him off too, because they succeeded in keeping him, cartoony and fun like the rest of the movie, but clearly a little bit darker and more possibly sinister with, his minions and whatnot. Him as the old school traditional vampire was really cool. And of course, like all of the Dracula family, he softens in the end. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Mel Brooks, that was perfect to bring him in for that. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Like there was another character that...
Blobby.
But Blobby was in the first one.
I know.
But they use him a lot more in this one, I guess. Yeah.
Really, there wasn't too many new characters that they brought.
No, there
in.
wasn't. But for some reason, I feel like I'm missing one that did speak several times that I can't
David
think
Spade.
of. No, he was in the first one.
I thought he was good in this one.
It's like hilarious. Trying to prove to everybody that he had an invisible girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like, is this the one from Canada? I was like, it's good. That's a good one, guys.
when he spills out her champagne, he's like,
you
klutz. Really?
Like,
we're not
gonna call him out on this one? No, we don't have time.
That was a good gag. I liked it. All the humor was there, from the first one.
Oh, Winnie, I guess.
Which one's that? Oh, the little girl,
the little
werewolf.
Female werewolf.
Yeah, we hear a lot from her. It looks like that's probably, I can see that being where the third one goes, is them figuring out if they're each other's zing.
Well, we know that, she's his zing.
Yeah,
she's
all
will
about
not
him.
let you forget they are zings.
Which is cute. So tell me this, the first time you watched this movie,
did I immediately ship them together? Yes, I did.
Oh, well, that's easy. But were you on the edge of your seat trying to figure out if he was or wasn't going to be a vampire?
I was like, oh man, is he going to be a vampire?
I got to tell you, I was totally gripped by that. I
didn't think it was going to happen at all.
Yeah, by the time it finally does happen, and this is what we find out in the end, is that we finally do realize that he is a vampire. But up until that moment, I was like, okay, well, I guess he isn't, and I'm fine with that, and I hope they play the story right. And then when he is, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so perfect. I love the way that they did it, and the way that it just kind of climaxes the whole movie right there.
Because
with his fangs popping in, and
because the whole time they're like, it's okay to be normal. It's like, you don't have to be, and well, that's another thing. Like, what's normal?
Right.
So it's like, it's okay if you're a monster, if you're a human, if you're a unicorn. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I mean, as long as you're happy, we all still love you.
Right.
Which is expressed a lot, and then they're like, screw it, let's make him a vampire.
Right.
I was like, it would have been more meaningful if you didn't.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool, though, because all of these movies are love stories, really. Yeah. And so the fact that you've got this little werewolf girl who's just mad about him, and he's kind of like, yeah, we're just friends, whatever. But then the second she gets hurt, he's like, oh, you don't hurt my girl. And that's when he becomes full vampire and kicks that dude's butt, and it's awesome.
And kicks a bunch of the booties.
Yeah, and he just lights it up at that point. And then I think it's cool because the whole search party's out, and they fly up, and Mavis and Drax see him, and they're like, oh yes, we are full on now. And and then they do battle, and it's amazing.
I liked the the road trip aspect of this. I thought that was a really good premise. And it didn't feel underdone. Like, you would be like, okay, maybe you go to one place and then you go back home. Mm-hmm. But they hit up a bunch of stops, which was nice, and each of the main characters kind of got to do something. Like, we had the mummy went to try and do his sand thing. I love that it's pooped a little bit of sand out. I was like, it's perfect. Only thing we didn't get anything with is it Murray?
Murray's the mummy.
Oh, who's the invisible guy?
He was just the driver. I don't think they took him.
I wish he would have had something. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing he really got to do was pretend to be Dennis.
Frankenstein tried to scare the joggers, and they just took a selfie with him. And then
Werewolf was like, "Oh, frisbee."
Yeah, he got distracted while trying to kill a deer. Yeah, I thought it was the funny part of all that is that they're basically all a bunch of has-beens at that point, and the world has kind of moved on, and they're not frightened by traditional monsters anymore.
Well, it's like at the end of the last movie, they all go out to the big, huge, Monster Day parade, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so cool!"
Yeah, they're all fans.
And then they all do that cool. What
shade?
They do all they open their umbrellas and stuff so Drac can get through. It's like, oh, this is so nice,
so cute.
I want to watch the first one again.
Yeah, the first one's so good. But the fact that they're both has-beens and ineffective because people aren't scared of them anymore, it just kind of makes it funny. And you get the point that it's kind of a futile exercise that Drac is doing here. He's like, you can't force this to happen. Either it's going to happen or it's not. So it just ends up being an entertaining kind of middle segment to the movie, while Mavis and what's her husband's name?
Johnny?
Is that it? Johnny?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right. While Mavis and Johnny, a.k.a. Andy Samberg, are in California. And, I thought that was a neat way to kind of keep the plot rolling during that segment.
It's Jonathan, but yes, it's
okay,
Johnny.
Nice. What did you think about the California scenes when they were in the human world?
I loved that Slurpee shop with Cal.
Cool.
I thought that was good. we're on a TV show starring us. That was great.
That was awesome. I like that he was cool that she was just drinking free Slurpees.
Slurpees. He's like, so you mean I can choose from all of these chips?
Yeah. How do people decide?
So good. I love how she's like, we went biking and mini marting. So now whenever, I'm like, hey, Gavin, you want to go hit up OnQ or something? Be like, hey, you want to go mini marting?
Exactly.
Go mini marting.
It's an outing. Yeah, I imagine it's an interesting perspective for somebody who's been shut away from the world, basically. A mini mart might be a actually magical place. Like a super grocery store would be absolutely overwhelming.
What happens if we took them to the super Target in Norman?
That mind blown.
They would just like fall down and be like, I can't go.
Can't handle it. Yeah, it'd be too much. Way too much.
It's too much for me. And
shout out to the super Target in Norman.
Sponsoring this week's episode, the Norman Super Target.
Nice. That's fake. Yeah. So
hashtag not an ad.
I thought it was kind of cool the way that they brought in that whole California side trip as well, because the whole tension of that section of the movie is they're debating whether or not to move to the human world because it's looking more and more like Dennis is going to be human, and they want him to, have an appropriate upbringing or a safe upbringing, whatever. So, yeah, I was glad that we got to see a lot of that instead of just. I thought it was going to be just like her on the phone. Like we'd see little video things.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to see full scenes while they were doing that. So it kind of juxtaposed with that road trip, perfectly. So I liked all that. I liked that we got some daylight. Like in the first one, I like when we get to that festival and we get some daylight, because the darkness is all pervasive in this movie for the most part. So
that's what happens when your two main characters are vampires.
Right, exactly. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. It's just visually, it's nice to have that little bit of light for those scenes.
I wonder if, because obviously Dennis would have had to gone to, he was going to like human school. Mm-hmm. So, is he like a daywalker? Is he like Blade?
I don't know how it works.
Because if you're
maybe before their fangs come in,
they're impervious to anything?
They're impervious, yeah. Okay. It's not set in yet. I don't know. That's an interesting...
I like how it was just like, if he could at least just sleep till 2 a.m. today, that would be great.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I loved the little character they created for Dennis. I thought he was adorable. I liked everything about him. And that stupid little monster show that he liked. And Drac was so pissed about that. It was great.
Good stuff.
So Mark Mothersbaugh did the music for this one, too. He did the first movie. He's probably the composer we've mentioned more than any other composer on this show because he's done so many of the films we've reviewed. And, man, I thought the music in this was really, really good. Did it stick out to you at all?
Not particularly. Like, that never...
Yeah,
is anything.
I just every once in a while one kind of pops for you and you hear it. For me, the music in this was just so good. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was perfectly suited to this whole franchise. I'm glad they had the same composer. Glad, of course, they had the same director, Genndy Tartakovsky, who's a legend in our eyes. So yeah, again, I like that they had all the huge voice talent back, all the music talent back. The director's the same. If they do a third one, I don't know if they can bring all that together.
I think they confirmed that the third one's happening.
If they do, I'm there, man. I'm totally there because these are entertaining movies. I laughed a lot during this movie.
I heard you.
I thought it was really funny, especially the first third of this movie. They just have so many jokes. And it's good stuff.
The Bluetooth.
Now what?
It's like now what? I mean, we did the joke. We did it.
Is
this what you wanted?
I love the fact that
this is why we made the emoji move.
Exactly. He can't do the smartphone because he's hitting it with his nails and he's hitting it too hard. And I like that moment where Murray grabs it. He's like, "Watch how soft I touch it," and it just works instantly for him.
It was a Griffin.
That's
funny.
David
Spade's character.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's so funny because they're kind of playing on the fact that he's Dracula, so he's hundreds of years old, and older people can have problems with touchscreens, and it's kind of hilarious. And people with nails. So I thought that was a funny gag. I like when he's trying to teach him, and it's the zombie bellhop who's across the room texting him, and he's like, "No, you can text him back," and he's over there like waving at him.
I don't even think he's a bellhop. That's that's like.
Oh, I thought it was one of the bellhops.
It's
the zombie
Dennis's
bellhops.
like personal assistant. So he's got like the bow tie and everything on. He's got his hair slicked back with his glasses. He looks like a member of Geek Squad.
Nice, I like it.
All right, any final thoughts?
Go see this movie. I recommend it. Oh, yeah. They made... So in the opening, it says PG for scary moments and rude humor. And I was surprised at a couple of the jokes they made. Like when Vlad sees Jonathan's costume. He's like, "What's on your head? It looks like my grandma's boobs." I was like, I can't believe you said boobs. I was just surprised by that.
Like,
they made a couple of funny jokes like that I was a little surprised.
They did a baboon's butt.
Yeah, baboon's butt. And I don't know. It's just I was surprised to hear them say boobs on
it was an Adam Sandler movie, so they
yeah, but it is a kids animated film, so I just...
And it's Mel Brooks.
I thought it was funny.
That's PG for Mel Brooks.
I wonder if he improv'd that, and they just decided to keep it in. And anyway,
I can see it.
That was the last thing I could think of. So, you want to rate it?
Yeah. What you think, Gav?
I wish I could remember what I rated the first one because I'd rate it exactly the same.
4.5.
I mean, I would rate it just the same.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
you
not
gave it
better.
a 5.
I don't think it's appreciably worse in any way. So, if I gave it a 4.5 last time, I'll give this one a 4.5. It's highly entertaining.
I think last year I gave Hotel Transylvania 5.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this year I'm gonna go Hotel Transylvania 2. I'm gonna go a little bit lower, and I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. A lower 5.
A lower
than
5.
Last year's
a
5.
lower 5 than last year's 5. Yes.
Okay. Splitting hairs.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You know me.
Nice.
I like to.
You look funky fresh with your little tam.
Well, like, have you noticed that I've been changing it around this entire time? It's just gone.
I just haven't had a chance
around
to
the world.
Funky fresh in your podcaster costume.
Funky fresh in my podcaster costume. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I will wear today. This is
nice.
This is my Halloween costume.
I like it.
Okay, Gavin, do we want to give him a little sneak peek of what we're going to be doing in Naughty November? It's not called Naughty November.
Yeah, we don't have a theme for November.
There's no theme for November.
I don't know when our next theme.
It's No Theme November.
No Theme
That's
November.
The thing.
I think our next planned themed one is March to the Stars 2018.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll come up with something in January or February. But yeah, November is a bit of a random month.
I talked to Corey about maybe Final Fantasy February, and we just do Final Fantasy movies.
Ooh, well, we could do Fantasy February.
Fantasy February, yeah.
Fantasy films.
We could do Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
Black Cauldron.
Maybe get some How to Train Your Dragon in there.
We haven't done How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, I love that
Let's
franchise.
do Fantasy February.
Cool.
What's January?
I don't know. Janky January?
We'll just do janky movies?
Yeah, we can
What's
do all
a
the
janky movie?
All the crap ones that we don't like.
All the crap movies.
Let's talk about November.
Pinocchio.
No, shut up. Shut your face. November. We're going to kick it off with our friend Liam's favorite movie.
Is it not Brittany's favorite movie?
The Great Mouse Detective. No, hers is Peter Pan.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, Great Mouse Detective. I'm pumped for this one. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. And then we're going to bring it down a bit, and we're going to go Grave of Fireflies.
So we're going to go happy, and then we're going to go sad.
But then we're going to bring it back up with a French film called The Illusionist, which I'm excited about.
Are we going to bring it up? I've never seen it. Is it a downer movie? We don't know.
Well, from what I've heard from Grave of Fireflies, there is only bringing it up from there. So we'll see.
You can only bring it up after the whole world gets destroyed.
Right. So, and then we're going to end on Final Fantasy. So, one of the Final Fantasy movies. I can't remember which one.
The newest one that came out. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, that one that Corey wants us to watch.
The one with Sean Bean and what's the kid's name from Breaking Bad?
I've never seen Breaking Bad, so I don't know.
Jesse. Who did?
Oh, I don't know that guy's name.
Is it Aaron something?
Yes, it is Aaron something.
Sorkin. It's not Aaron Sorkin.
I don't think it is. No. So yeah, that's our
Aaron Paul.
random November. And then
Not to be
December
confused with Adrian
is
Paul.
still slightly being formed, and we'll talk about that one later.
Yeah.
But I'm liking the idea of Fantasy February. That could
I
be
like
fun.
Fantasy February. That sounds quite fun.
Yeah.
We are still doing our race to iTunes subscribers. That was a bad
Race for
one.
the reviews.
Race for reviews, yes.
Nice.
We got a new one in.
Yes.
Well, actually, we got 2 new ones in.
Cool.
The first one is from Say What? It's great banter, gentle snark, and roof. It cut the rest off, so I can't see what it says. Also is very informative. Love the theme months. Never change. Well,
nice.
We won't. Then we got one from, I apologize, Damalseer? Damalseer? Yeah. It says, fan. I've listened to them since around they started, and the only problem is that their intro is just too long for my taste.
Really?
What I love about
Maybe we
this
should shorten
series
that
is they don't just talk about anime, they talk about animation, stop motion, CGI animation from TV series and movies, old and new. Recently, they are doing a monthly theme, and I love it. Well, DS. I think the intro is too long as well.
Okay. Yeah, we've been talking about the idea of
Changing it
changing it
for a
up for
while.
a while, so maybe that's our impetus to do it.
It's just I'm super lazy, and oh, thanks. I was
Oh,
like, I'm super lazy. Yeah, you are.
That wasn't agreement. That was I'm listening. I'm engaged. Yes.
This is why
Go
I'm so
on.
mean on the podcast, guys. This is what you see. You see now.
You're not lazy.
Except when you said I was.
Much. No,
Oh.
I was saying, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
Not,
Right.
yes, you're lazy. I'm
He
sorry.
just said it again.
We should think about it. You know, we've had that for over a year, and
Yeah, we need to
maybe
change.
we should. Change it
Your
up a
wife
little
and I
bit.
talked about, a way that something that we could do for new intros, and I just got to do it, and it's just
Cool.
hard.
I know that our friends over at Cloud City Cast recently changed up theirs, and it's shorter, so that's kind of, I can kind of hear that. My favorite podcast has the longest intro ever.
Oh, you mean the
It's usually
Podcateers? It's
3
like
to 4 minutes
7.5
long.
minutes long.
Yeah,
I
but-
love it, but they get everything
But he
out.
packs so much information into everything that they do that it makes sense. For us, all we do is podcasts, so there's
Yeah.
not much to pack in there. So yeah, it would make sense to maybe do something shorter. I think initially when we're really trying to, our intro was meant to like explain the whole thing about our podcast.
And now that we've
done
done 66 episodes,
yeah, we
it's
may
like,
not totally need that as much, or we may be able to find a way to do it more succinctly and more in a way that fits our style a little bit more, maybe. And since you're basically a voiceover artist now, you could do it, and you could do voices,
amateur voiceover
and
artist.
you could do awesome things, and you're like an editing whiz now. So
I
we
try.
can do some fancy stuff. I believe in you, Josh.
Huffily puffily, huffily puffily.
Huffily.
That sounds like
puffily.
Kendra.
What do you? Oh, is that who?
I think
gave us the review?
I think Huffily Puffily is Kendra. Sorry, I was just looking
That
over
might
there.
be. That might be. So how many reviews are we up to?
We are at a whopping.
The tension's killing me, man.
Hey, hold on.
Because we're shooting for 25 is the first tier, and that's the first giveaway tier. Second tier would be 50. Third tier would be 100, and that's what we would love to hit.
Weird. So it says 10 ratings,
Mm-hmm.
but we've got 15 reviews.
So people have reviewed, but they haven't rated.
But no,
along with the review.
It makes you rate when you review,
Weird.
because you can't review without rating it.
Hmm.
That's odd.
Well, 15 though. That's
We're
good.
at 15, so 10
Nice.
more. So if you haven't been listening, we're doing a push for 25 subscribers or 25 reviews on iTunes. Once we get those 25, then we will do a giveaway package.
Mm-hmm.
Then once we hit 25, you will unlock our second tier of giveaway, which is to get to 50.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we'll show, what we're going to be giving away for in that tier. And then when we hit 50, we'll show what we're giving away for 100. And 100, it's a lot. So that's why 100 is a bunch.
Yeah. But if you ever had that dream of co-hosting an episode of the Animation Station podcast,
exactly,
you then tell all your friends and family to review us so we hit the 100 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So. And
we'll also be giving some exclusive, one-of-a-kind. Gavin's going to draw paint whatever you want him to draw paint. That's a thing.
Yep, that's a thing.
That is a thing.
That's an item on my Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin's going to paint whatever thing you want.
Uh-huh. And usually it's $500, but for this giveaway, it's going to be free.
Yeah.
I bet if you put that on your Etsy shop at $500, somebody would probably buy it.
Maybe.
Just pop it at 100 just to feel the waters, and then when you start getting nibbles, yank it out and then make it 5.
Yeah, yank it out for like 4 weeks to make people go like, what? Wow, I can't wait to list that again. And then when I list it again, 500.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's how you do it. And
then they'll be emotionally committed, so then they have to be financially committed.
Uh-huh.
That's manipulative, man.
You're welcome.
I'm going to do it.
Exactly. Like, that's business 101, man. You got to manipulate.
I know. Got to keep it exclusive.
Okay, Gavin. I'm tired, and I want to watch Stranger Things.
Well,
I want to finish.
I think you should probably do that then.
Do you want to? Let's do some Stranger Things spoilers right now. So if you haven't finished Stranger Things, go ahead and keep listening, cause YOLO, right? So Stranger Things spoiler number 1.
Don't do it.
Sean Astin's in this movie. It's a series.
TV series.
It's a TV series. So Rudy himself, good old Samwise Gamgee.
What?
Yeah. Michael Modine is in this again, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Winona Ryder also in the series.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's weird. She's not playing her original character, so she's not playing, Mom Byers. Mm-hmm. She's actually playing Mike's mom now. So it's really weird. So she went from Will's mom to Mike's mom. It's a little bit weird how they did it, but you're like, okay, I can kind of see what's going on here. They just swapped characters.
I suddenly don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth.
You shouldn't.
Nice.
But Sam is in this movie.
All right. I think we've pissed off enough people because someone bought what you just said.
I hope so.
They're like, no, damn
They're like, wait,
Josh.
She's supposed to be Joyce Byers. What's going on? And she's spending all her time at Mike's house. I don't get it.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 11's in the series again.
I thought she'd be 12 by now.
Nope, she's still 11. I actually don't know how old she is. They're in 8th grade. How old are you in 8th grade?
No clue. Absolutely
11,
no clue.
12.
Shit, maybe.
Let's see. That's
I feel
4
like
years.
11, 12 is more like 6th grade.
Yeah, 8th grade would probably be like 14.
I feel like I turned 16 and got my license like in 9th grade, 10th grade, somewhere around there. Yeah, kids. I don't know.
Cool story, bro.
I've been not exposed to kids for a long, long time. So.
Gavin, no, that's not true. You just saw like a small one like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Remy?
Yeah.
I
saw
could not tell you how old he is.
Remington Steele.
He's less than 16 years old.
Is he?
He's freaking adorable is all I know. That's what I know.
All right, Gavin, where can everybody find it?
Everybody can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Gavin Otteson Art, on the web, GavinOttesonArt.com.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast.
On Facebook, Animation Station Podcast.
On Twitter at Animation Station Podcast. Don't you forget it.
I'm not going to forget it, but you got that one wrong, because on Twitter, we're Animate Podcast.
This is true. On Tumblr, it's at Animation Station Podcast. Well,
you were already thinking ahead. That you wanted me to say Tumblr.
You skipped it because you went to Facebook, and it usually goes Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And so I was
ultimately, it's my fail. I will admit that.
You can find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast.
On Twitter at Animate Podcast.
On Facebook at Animation Station Podcast.
On Tumblr, if you do that sort of thing, Animation Station Podcast.
Every day we tumble in. Okay. You can also find all of our episodes on iTunes.
And Stitcher.
And on our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Just click on the podcast tab.
That's right.
All
I
right.
think that's it.
Any shout-outs before we end out?
I
Guess we can shout out Cloud City Cast.
Yeah, they're awesome. They shouted us out.
They gave us a shout-out.
So, shout them out.
Whenever someone shouts us out, we're morally and legally obligated to shout them out as well.
They're awesome because they've become one of my main sources of Disney news now. Like, I listen to their podcast, and I learn so much from just their news segments. They do heavy on the news, and I like that.
I only listen to when they talk about me, and then I'm like, good. It makes me feel good about myself. So whenever they
just run a program and like search for the name Josh.
Yeah,
in their audio
whenever
file.
Liam talks about how we've argued on text, I'll be like, yep, okay,
Yes,
I feel
yes,
good
we
now.
did.
And then I'll turn it off because it's done.
That's hilarious, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I am very narcissistic.
A little bit.
No, a lot.
But you're not lazy.
I'm super lazy.
Okay, you said it though.
Yeah.
Not me.
Well, I mean, you already called me lazy. I have to agree with you now. So for the Animation Station podcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin.
Bye-bye, little butterfly.
Made you look.
Zing, zing.
Ooh, nice.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Animate Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes and join the conversation at SecretSuperheroClub.com, where you can connect with our podcast friends, Cloud City Cast, Getting Into Comics, and Shaun of the Gathering.